In example 4, we need to find the cosecant of this angle. And I'm going to rewrite this as 1 over the sine of 60 degrees plus 45 degrees. So remember that the cosecant and the sine have a reciprocal relationship. And then 105, of course, is 60 and 45. If you wanted to use a difference formula, you could. This could be like 135 minus 30. I think that's the same thing we had before with example 3. Anyway, we're going to try to figure out this part right here with the understanding that when we find it, we're going to need to use our reciprocal relationship. So let's focus on this bottom part of the fraction. And if we focus on the bottom part of the fraction, you'll hopefully have written down this handy, very handy, sum formula for the sine. We're using the sine here, so our eyes are drawn to this one. And that's the sine of the first angle times the cosine of the next one. Plus sign, we're using a plus sign, so that stays the same for the sine. That'll be cosine of the first angle and then sine of the second angle. Remember, we're going to need to flip that, so we're going to need to use recip. Oops, right here. So the sine of 60 is root 3 over 2. The cosine of 45 is root 2 over 2. Cosine of 60 would be 1/2. And the sine of 45 would be root 2 over 2. Multiplying this out, we can get root 6 plus root 2 all over 4 eventually. For how to simplify that, if that's Greek to you, then check out examples 1 through 3. 1 and 2, I think we did this exact thing right there. So if we look at this one, remember we need to use the reciprocal. So the cosecant is just this fraction and flipped, so we've got root 6 plus root 2. But we know we're going to need to get this root 6 and the root 2 out of there. So what we can do is we can just multiply by the conjugate. And for the conjugate, what we're going to do is we are going to change this sign into its opposite. Remember, we need to multiply the top and the bottom by the same thing. That way we won't change its value. So if we move down a little bit here, we've got 4, and then we've got root 6 minus root 2. And I'm going to wait to do this distribution. Maybe we'll have a factor that cancels out here, I don't know. This is a difference of 2 squares, so we're going to have the first term squared, which is just 6. Root 6 times root 6 is 6. Then we've got a minus sign, and we're going to have root 2 times root 2, which is 2. So that's 4 times root 6 minus root 2, all over 4, and note that the 4's will cancel, and we'll be left with root 6 minus root 2. Let's see if that's the actual value that we want. So let's type, let's use our calculator here, and we're going to do, let's see, we'll make sure we're in the right mode to begin with. We're in degree mode, so that's good. We're going to do 1 divided by the sine of 105, and then we're going to type in root 6 minus root 2. Oops, keep on doing that. Just move the cursor over, and it's the same thing. So we don't have any radicals in the denominator like we did before, and this is actually the simplest form of the cosecant of 105 degrees.